Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Liz. I'm a medical technologist and pharmaceutical chemist with over 30 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry and healthcare industry. Today, I want to talk about something that's been driving me absolutely nuts for weeks. Something that I thought I had left behind for good. Compulsive throat clearing. After doing more research on this issue, it seems that I'm not alone. There are quite a number of people who are suffering from this as well. So stick around and I'll tell you what I suspect is causing it in my case and how I plan to eradicate it once and for all right here on the Carnivore Science channel. If you've been following my journey, you'll know that before I started the carnivore diet back in November of 2022, I had a long list of medical issues that I was looking to eliminate, as well as the bulk of 100 pounds that I needed to lose and lost. One of the conditions that posed a lower risk but was the absolute worst and most annoying thing ever was compulsive throat clearing. It made my life miserable at times and drove me absolutely nuts. I was constantly clearing my throat, feeling like there was something perpetually stuck there. It was embarrassing and extremely disruptive. I was lucky that all of our management meetings at work were done via Microsoft Teams, so I could mute my microphone. It would have been ugly if we were still doing in-person group meetings in the conference room like we did 5 years ago, so thank you, COVID? Wow, that's a glass half full approach you didn't think you'd hear, right? But still, besides meetings, my coworkers in the next office can hear me and they never tire of yelling, "Cough it up!" and then giggling hysterically. The funny thing with this is some of this is habitual and it'll start to subside as you get focused on other tasks. Instead of hyper obsessing about the odd film that is coating your throat just behind your nose, and you'll only occasionally and absent-mindedly do it, which is a relief. But then, when someone brings it up and brings it to your attention again by yelling, "Cough it up," it starts it all over again and then it gets worse. I know, psychological. Of all the problems to have, I get that this is a real first world type issue. But I'm not kidding when I say that it made me absolutely miserable. This popped up pretty frequently and was the worst. But then I went carnivore and like magic, it just disappeared. Gone. It was incredible. I was never sure if all it was due to LPR or if it was more due to inflammation caused by all the processed junk and chemicals I was eating. But whatever it was, the relief was immense and I was grateful to be free of it. LPR is very often the cause of this. LPR stands for laryngopharyngeal reflux, and it is a condition where stomach contents flow back up into the esophagus and irritate the larynx, the voice box, and the pharynx, the throat. It's also called silent reflux. LPR occurs when the lower esophageal sphincter, it's a muscle that normally prevents stomach contents from flowing backwards, weakens and doesn't close properly. This allows stomach acid and other digestive juices to reflux into the esophagus and potentially reach the larynx and the pharynx. While GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, is characterized by heartburn, LPR is often referred to as the silent reflux because many individuals with LPR don't experience typical heartburn symptoms. Common symptoms of LPR are hoarseness, again, chronic cough, throat clearing, feeling like something is stuck in the back of your throat, excessive mucus, difficulty swallowing at times, and post-nasal drip, which I also have those symptoms as well. As far as the cause of the throat clearing and increased mucus, eating garbage processed foods filled with chemicals and God knows what else can also cause this issue. The root cause in my case, pre-carnivore, could have been either because I was eating a lot of trash back then. But now, for about the last 3 weeks, it has all started again. And it's not playing games. It returned with a vengeance this time. And it's every bit as annoying as it was before. My voice is hoarse, not all the time, but more often than not. And it really depends on how well I control the throat clearing, because the more you clear your throat, the more I irritate my throat and the more hoarse I become. And the little bit of mucus is just sitting there right behind my nose and my throat, just annoying the crap out of me. Initially, I just blamed everything on the extra yard work I've been doing lately and figured it was some kind of allergy. I got into some kind of weed. So I went for the saline nasal rinse. But then that wasn't enough, so I got desperate. I actually took a few rounds of pseudoephedrine hydrochloride, otherwise known to people as used to be called Sudafed. It's a very effective decongestant that years ago was sold over the counter to everybody. They've since reformulated this product, and it's as useless as tits on a bull. It's got phenylephrine now, which doesn't do anything about congestion. But if you want to get the pseudoephedrine hydrochloride, the actual original formulation, you can go to the pharmacist and you have to sign a document and you have to show your driver's license, because there's tougher regulations, mostly due to the fact that people were using it to make methamphetamine years ago. So the crappy one that doesn't do anything is sold over the counter, and the good one is sold behind the counter. And phenylephrine hydrochloride has also proven, it's shown now to be ineffective. It doesn't work. Yes, they're still selling it to you over the counter in the public because, reasons, money, whatever. But anyway, it didn't work. And more importantly, it illustrates how truly desperate I was to fix this. Since I left the pharmaceutical industry behind due to ethical reasons, I rarely would take any medication of any kind. Since going carnivore, I have taken exactly 0 medications. None. Over the counter or prescribed. Medications are basically my kryptonite. And it didn't even work. I did it for nothing. So now that this has continued and it's been almost 3 weeks, I turned my attention back to my diet and started evaluating my food choices. I haven't eaten anything that I haven't eaten before, so I really couldn't figure it out at first. I don't log all my food since the early days. I probably should after this, and if you're a new carnivore or are really early into this journey, it's critical that you do that. I did it back then, but I'm kind of on autopilot at this point. At least I thought I was until this happened. Should have taken my own advice, right? After really examining everything, I think I finally identified the culprit. There's one specific thing I recently incorporated back into my diet that I had previously cut out completely. Not because of this issue, but because I was abusing it and it causes weight gain if you do that. The timing, though, lines up perfectly with when the throat clearing started. I brought back in heavy cream. Yes, I introduced back into my diet my one true love. I know for many this is a carnivore staple, and I enjoyed having it back in my diet. I love it. But thinking back, the return of the throat clearing aligns almost perfectly with when I started consuming it again. Now, I have no proof of this yet, and this is just my personal experience and a theory at this point. But given that dairy can be a trigger for some people with a sensitivity to it, or it can even worsen LPR symptoms, it makes a lot of sense. It could be causing some kind of inflammation or irritation that's leading to this constant need for me to clear my throat. I've been holding that one in for a while. So what's the plan? Well, it's pretty simple. I have ditched the heavy cream yet again, and yes, I'm super depressed about it. But it could be worse. Like if I found out I can't eat butter. Ooh. Perish the thought. This makes me feel really bad for those people who can't eat anything but lion diet and they have to just do water and ruminant animals or else they have all these reactions. I've done that before, and it is kind of harder for me to do just because of the flexibility. I love the meat, but, it's just not very flexible. But I guess you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. So anyway, I only just got rid of it yesterday. I was consuming almost, 3 tablespoons full a day, sometimes once a day, sometimes twice a day. But I've noticed already a small amount of improvement. So I'll give it a good couple of weeks and then I'll update you guys on my progress. It may not be the cause of it, but I would be very surprised given the timing of the introduction of the heavy cream and the symptoms. It would be an awful big coincidence. My reason for doing this video now, as opposed to just waiting for the results of my little food experiment in a couple of weeks, is because your feedback is extremely helpful to this investigation. I always value your input. Have any of you experienced something similar? Have you found that certain dairy products, or even heavy cream specifically, or any other foods trigger these type of symptoms for you? I would greatly appreciate hearing your experiences in the comments section below. So thanks so much for watching, and if you liked the video, if you could give me a like, that'd be great. And if you want to, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.